Hello, I'm going to try something different. I'm going to take you for a walk. It's February in England, and we're going to see if we can find any. His best friend lives there. We're going to see if we can find anything that I can show you that's coming up this early. Here, Norman. Oh, first of all, here we go. This is Buttercup, creeping Buttercup. You want to zoom in, Bob? That's one you don't eat, that's poisonous. Now next to it is some baby nettles. Now nettles are really good, they're a superfood. You can eat the shoots, you can make tea out of them, you can do all sorts. We've only done 6 steps. Here's another one, baby cleavers, or sticky willy. This is the one that sticks to you. These are little babies. Again, you can make tea out of this, and they're a good salad for eating. But just make sure when you've got them mixed up like this, where you've got buttercups and cleavers mixed together, you don't go eating buttercups because they're poisonous. Come on, Norman, let's see what we can find. Here, come on. Here we go. Blackberries. Some people call them brambles. If they're in your garden, people call them brambles and they're a weed. But if you tied that to that fence and let it get loads of flowers on it, you can come and pick blackberries this summer. Food. Look at the sun over Rivington. That's Rivington Pike over here. That's the Pennines in Lancashire. You know. I love seeing this. This is an escapee. Somebody's thrown the primrose away out of a pot, thinking, oh, it's finished. And look at that. It's looking great. Primroses are actually, although it's a bedding plant, spring bedding plant, they are edible. This is another escapee. It's called Linicera Bagason's Gold. This could make a really good, easy to take cuttings off, and makes a really good substitute for hedging, because you can just cut these like mad and they always grow back and they don't get buxus blight and they don't get buxus moth, so they're good. There's a lot of flipping dogs down here. Another escapee, Euonymus emulgata. Lots of brambles. Somebody's thrown a tub of daffodils out, they're coming back. So people forget, daffodils die back, primroses die back, they throw the pot away and there they are coming back surviving. Daffodils are poisonous, so don't eat them. This is escaping into countryside. This is a campanula posciana, that's coming through from the garden, escaping into the countryside. This is how it happens. Nice batch of sticky willy there, cleavers. More daffodils for a bit. Cherry laurel. And this Bagason's Gold again. Ivy. Now I've had a few people saying to me about ivy, they don't like it. I know people don't like it, but you can get variegated ivies to put in your, from a garden centre rather than the green. And if you've got an old Leylandii hedge that's all brown and dead and they want to green it up again, Plant ivy, let it grow into it and cover it all up again, because it'll never come back once it gets into the brown. It's flipping muddy. You see what I mean? How ivy can cover up something unsightly. Horrible concrete fence. I think it looks better with green on than, and it's got berries on for the pigeons. Holly. I know I've done this loads of times, but it's a good example. Do you want to zoom in here, Bob? Down here you've got the juvenile ivy, which has got like an arrow-shaped head. And then when the ivy gets to a certain age, it's called adult ivy, and it starts to flower and get the berries. Brilliant form of nectar for bees, because it's the last thing that flowers. And then you've got these fruits. As soon as they go black and ripe, pigeons will have them, blackbirds will have them. So they're really good. You ready? Right, that's a bracket fungus. Now if that was turkey tail, it would be white underneath. What's brilliant about these is they eat all the wood and turn that wood into compost. So they're a really beneficial thing to have. Come on, Norm. Come on, where's your stick? Oh. Yeah, I've got another one. This thing go like a little racehorse. Come on, come on. Well, you can't find it. Use your nose. Here we go, this is a sign of spring. I don't think the camera's going to film it, but it's a pussy willow just starting to come out. And there's a massive dwarf conifer, Leylandii. That's what I was saying before, if you want to cover the ugly bottom of it, is you cover it with ivy. Here's some escapees. Nice to see, somebody's dumped some, again, a tub. And they've got some snowdrops. Now this one, this is called a lamium. Now this has obviously been dumped. It's out of an hanging basket or a planted thing. And this is actually becoming invasive. It's actually taking over. So that's the problem when you get some plants that are just too good at surviving. I can't say there was much else growing here, but blooming Himalayan balsam, so I don't think it's doing any harm here. But it just shows you. Here's a good example. This is a sambucus or elderberry, and it's been bent over. And when a tree gets bent over like that, it opens up all these auxiliary buds going up the stem, and you get all these straight stems coming off. And that's how a tree tries to straighten itself when it's been blown over in the wind. Elderberry. Look at all this lamium, or common name for it's dead nettle. There's nothing dead about this. It's taking over. Absolutely spreading really madly into the countryside. Not always a good thing. Nice bracket fungus. This looks like a goat willow. Right, silver birch. If you're ever camping, this bark is full of resin and it's dry. It's a horrible cold wet day today, but if you wanted to make a campfire, you can easily find dry birch bark on a silver birch, which is perfect for making fires. And I found this on a piece of dead birch. You see, this is called a birch polypore. I've done this loads of times on my channel, but I've never done this. Apparently what you can do with this, if you cut yourself, you can actually cut, I don't know, this might be a bit past its best, but you can actually cut a plaster out of this. Yeah, I think it's gone too far. Right, so this, I've seen this done before, where you can actually cut. This one's probably an old one, it's past its best, but you can, and I don't know how sharp this Leatherman is, but you can pull that off, and in there it's totally, it's got is it the stuff that stops your blood from mixing. So if this was a bit fresher, I've seen it done where you can cut that off nice and trim, and it actually makes a sticking plaster. It's antibiotic. It's got stuff in it to make your blood clot. So if you ever cut yourself, you could put that on and then put a bandage on, and it'll stop. It's very good for keeping wounds clean and for stopping it bleeding, and it's got antibiotic in it, so there's nothing wrong with that. Now the other name for this, it's called a shaver strop. And what they used to do, they used to skin these. I don't know if they put them on a piece of wood or something, but you could actually strop your knife, your cutthroat razor. This is what barbers used to do, and use it for shaving. So that's a birch polypore. So if you see them, they grow that way up, and the white underneath, and they're normally a lot harder than this. This is an old one I've just found on the floor. This is Bob's Leatherman. Apparently, he got it when 19 what?
82.
82. Still carries it round with him everywhere. Is it made in USA? Pat pending. Sure saw USA on it before. Leatherman tools. So that's lasted. Buy good and buy what is it? Buy once and buy right or something. I don't know. No, give us that ball. He's found a ball, Bob. It's dry in here. It's drier than I thought. Get your ball. That is down like this. Ready? Here's one. This is where ivy can be, they can get their own doom. There's a little tree here, they've just about choked to death, and deciduous trees were invented, well, they've evolved, so that they drop the leaves in winter so all the strong winds don't blow them over. When you get a tree that's absolutely choked up like this and covered in ivy, there's a good chance this will blow over, so ivy can basically be a product of its own success. Here we go. There you go. I rest my case. It's blown this tree over because it's covered in ivy, because it can catch the wind. Now this is funny. We always see this when we're on our walks. I don't know why, but holly always seems to grow right at the bottom of a tree like that. I don't know whether or not it's the birds sit in the tree and the poop with the seeds comes down, but they're always right at the bottom. And quite often when the tree goes over, the holly ends up on top of a mound. We've seen loads of it on our walks. Here's another polypore. And it looks like there's some woodpecker damage in that. This is one of my favourite little trees. It's only a little baby. It's a hazelnut. And in a few weeks' time, the bigger ones will have the tassels on, because these are pollinated by wind. And I really like hazel. Now, again, in the old days, they used to cut these really hard back, and the more you cut them, the more they grow. And they used to have a field full of hazels, and every 4 years they used to cut the sticks, and they used them for firewood, or they used them for making charcoal out of. So the word coppice comes from, it used to be hazel, and they used to use ash, and they also used them for fences for sheep, you know, to make hurdles and stuff. So this is one just growing in the wild. You ready? Are you filming?
Yeah.
Right, this is an interesting one. Its common name is woodbine. We call it honeysuckle. And look at that, it's gone all the way up. So this is what you get your honeysuckle berries on. And beautiful scented flowers. Really, really good for pollinators. But look how old it is, all gone twisted. So your little honeysuckle that you grow in your garden, that's how big it should be. And it drops its leaves in winter and then gets its leaves at the top where the sun is. So the cheat in nature, instead of growing a big thick trunk and spending a lot of energy, it's grown from there and gone up that tree and got into the sun like the ivies do, by running up somebody else and just climbing on the back of somebody else who's put all the work in.